You know that feeling. You look at something familiar, like maybe a painting or even just an old photo, and suddenly you spot this tiny detail you've never noticed. And it
Mm.
makes you wonder, like, what's the story behind that? It's almost like finding a hidden message.
Yeah, exactly.
So what if a really famous piece of art held a secret like that? A clue to this, like deep friendship that spanned decades and somehow changed a stranger's life years later.
Well, that's pretty much the hook that pulls us into our deep dive today. We're looking at Fredrik Backman's new novel, My Friends. It's actually set to release very soon, May 6th, 2025.
Right. And, instead of just waiting, we've been digging into the Amazon page for it. It's got the description, of course, but also those editorial reviews, and really interestingly, some early reader feedback, too.
It gives you a kind of sneak peek, a multifaceted view before it's even properly out.
Exactly. So our mission here really is to sort of unpack the core stuff for you. We want to get into the premise of My Friends. The big themes looks like friendship and art are key and what people are saying about it initially. Basically, give you the essence without you having to sift through everything yourself.
Okay, so let's start with that central mystery you mentioned. The book seems to kick off with this character, Louisa. She's an aspiring artist.
Right.
And she notices something on this famous painting, a seascape. Three tiny figures, almost hidden,
Just little figures.
apparently. And seeing them just sparks this determination in her to find out their story. Who are they? Why are they there?
No, it's like that one little anomaly makes you question the whole picture, isn't it?
Precisely. And then the story takes this jump back, right, 25 years earlier.
Okay.
We land in a seaside town focusing on this group of teenagers. They find their spot, their sort of refuge, on an old abandoned pier.
So the pier becomes important.
It sounds like it. The description paints it as more than just a place. It's like a sanctuary where these kids who maybe have tough stuff going on at home forge this incredibly tight bond.
Uh-huh.
It becomes their reason, the reason to live, to dream, maybe even to love. It's built on shared jokes, secrets, those small rebellions. You know how it is.
Totally. And somehow, out of that summer, that intense friendship, comes this painting, a significant piece of art.
Yeah, it's like their shared experience gets, I don't know, channeled onto the canvas.
And then, years later, Louisa, who we met at the start, she somehow ends up with this painting when she's just 18. She becomes its caretaker.
Right, which is interesting. How does she end up with it? That seems like part of the mystery itself.
Definitely. And her finding the figures isn't the end. It's the start of her quest. She travels across the country trying to uncover the painting's history, but also trying to decide what happens to it now. What's its fate?
It's not just about the past then, but the future responsibility for this story held in the art.
Yeah. And the description hints at this growing nervousness for Louisa as she gets closer to the truth, like maybe the ending isn't the neat, happy resolution you might expect.
Suggesting something more complex, maybe bittersweet.
Could be. Which leads us nicely into the big themes, right? The Amazon page really flags two main ones: the transformative power of friendship and the timeless power of art.
Yeah, those seem central. The idea that this deep human connection, this friendship, actually fuels the creation of the art.
And then the art itself echoes forward, impacting Louisa's life all those years later. The painting becomes this bridge across time.
Exactly. It carries the weight of that original friendship. There's actually a quote in the description that captures this.
Oh, yeah?
It says, Louisa is proof that happy endings don't always take the form we expect in the stunning testament to the transformative, timeless power of friendship and art.
Happy endings don't always take the form we expect. That's interesting. It challenges that typical idea of a neat resolution.
It does. It makes you wonder what transformative really means here. Is it about Louisa changing, or the original friends, or maybe how we view friendship and art themselves?
Good questions.
Okay.
So beyond the story itself, what's the initial buzz like? You mentioned early reactions.
Well, there's definitely anticipation. It's popped up on several most anticipated book of 2025 lists: Goodreads, USA Today, Marie Claire, places like that.
That's pretty significant pre-release hype.
And of course, Fredrik Backman himself is a huge draw. He's a #1 New York Times bestseller, massive following.
Right, a man called Ove, Anxious People.
Yeah,
People love his work.
exactly. And this new one, my friends, is already sitting at #1 bestseller in Amazon's friendship fiction category, just based on pre-orders, presumably.
Wow, okay. What about the critics, the editorial reviews?
They offer some good clues. Book list mentions irrepressible humor, boundless grief, and eternal loyalty.
That sounds like Backman, that mix of light and dark, the emotional range.
Definitely his territory. Book page praises it as a tribute to the forces that make an ordinary life extraordinary, and a celebration of the beauty of being alive, finding the big stuff in the small moments.
Yeah, he has a knack for that.
The Washington Post highlights his ability to capture the messy essence of being human, making you laugh and cry. NPR echoes that, talking about a perfect balance of heartwarming and heart-wrenching.
So expect an emotional ride.
Seems like it. And there was one review, Green Valley News, that called him the Dickens of our age.
Whoa, Dickens. That's high praise.
It is. It suggests that kind of broad, empathetic scope capturing the human condition.
Okay, so critics are positive. What about actual readers? The early customer feedback.
Also really strong. The average rating on Amazon right now is 4.8 out of 5 stars. That's based on 159 ratings so far.
4.8 is impressive, especially pre-release. What are people saying?
A lot of recurring things. People find it really enjoyable, but also deeply touching, deeply moving. The humor comes up a lot, too. Genuine laugh-out-loud moments mentioned frequently.
So it balances the emotion with lightness.
Seems that way. And huge praise for the story quality itself. One reviewer literally called it a masterpiece.
A masterpiece, wow.
Yeah. High praise. People also love his writing style, specifically calling out how he evokes those strong emotions. The laughing and crying thing comes up in reader reviews, too.
It's consistent then.
Very. And some are already saying it's one of the best books of 2025, which is, quite a statement this early.
Absolutely. Did any specific reviews stand out?
There was one, yeah. A verified purchase review. Let me see if I can find the exact wording. Oh, here. Laughing so hard I cried, and crying so much I laughed. This story is love on pages.
Love on pages. Nice.
It goes on. I hope one day I find something somebody writes that affects me more, but I'm not sure it's possible. If this was the only book I could read for all eternity, I would read it every day, and I would be happy it's that good.
Okay, that is some serious enthusiasm. That's not just liking a book. That's connecting with it on a profound level.
It really is. And you also see little mentions like people appreciating specific characters. Someone called the artist gets a shout out. So the characters are clearly resonating too.
Sounds like classic Backman, creating memorable people.
Think so. And just quickly on Backman himself, as we said, #1 NYT bestseller, known for Ove, Anxious People, lots of others.
Right.
His books are huge globally, published in over 40 countries. He's based in Stockholm. So this new book comes with a lot of reader expectation built on that history.
Okay, so wrapping up this initial look then, what are the key takeaways?
Well, my friends seems to be digging deep into how powerful friendships can be, how they shape us, and how art can kind of capture that essence and carry it through time.
Yeah, and the early signs, the reviews, the reader comments, point to a really emotionally resonant story. That blend of humor, grief, loyalty. It sounds very impactful.
Definitely. So for you, the listener, wanting to get up to speed quickly, this gives you a solid picture, right? You understand the core idea, the main themes, the kind of reaction it's getting, even before hitting shelves wide.
It sets the stage really well. And it leaves me thinking, in our own lives, we focus so much on the obvious things, the tangible stuff. But this makes you wonder, what are those unseen connections, those friendships, or maybe even the subtle ways art or stories have influenced us, that are shaping our life stories without us even fully realizing it? Those hidden threads just waiting to be noticed.